All right, here we go. Example 3, 6.1. More integers, positive and negative. This says you deliver flowers to an office building. You enter at ground level and go down 2 floors to make the first delivery. Then you go up 7 floors to make the second delivery. Write an integer that represents each position. Position 1, you enter at ground level. I'm going to say that's going to be 0. You go down 2 floors, that's going to be -2. Then you go up 7 floors plus 7. So what floor are you at? This is going to get us into adding and subtracting. It's going to be fun. Write an integer that represents how you return to ground level. So if you draw a little picture, first we start at 0, we enter at ground level, then we went down 1, 2, right? Then we went up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we end up at floor number 5. The second delivery is on the 5th floor. You must go down 5 floors to return to ground level, so that's going to be -5, right? So see how -5 and -2 gets us back to 0? -5, -2 equals 7, doesn't it? -7. Let's take a look at another one. This says you start a game with 10 points. You gain 4 points in the first round. In the second round, you lose 7 points. Write an integer that represents each point level. After the third round, your total score is 10 points. Write an integer that represents how many points you
start
received
a
in the
game
third
with
round.
10 points.
All right, let's take a
You
look. Let's get a
gain
little bit
4
more tricky.
points in the first round. In the second round, you lose 7 points. Part A. Write an integer that represents each point level. Let's make a list of the point values given at the beginning of the problem, and then write the integer. The problem says that you start with 10 points. So, an integer to represent 10 points is 10. Next, the problem tells us that you gain 4 points. The word gain means a positive integer, so the integer to represent you gain 4 points is +4. Finally, the problem tells us that you lose 7 points. The word lose indicates a negative integer. So, the integer to represent you lose 7 points is -7. Part B. After the third round, your total score is 10 points. Write an integer that represents how many points you received in the third round. To solve this problem, let's use a number line. First, we need to label the number line. Start with 0 because you cannot have negative points, and continue to label the number line. The problem tells us that you start a game with 10 points, so we will start at 10. Then it tells us that in the first round you gain 4 points. This is a positive number, so we will move to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So after the first round, you have 14 points. In the second round, you lose 7 points. This is a negative number, so let's move to the left 7 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This brings us to 7. After the second round, you have 7 points. Part B tells us that after the third round, your total score is 10 points. So, we want to get back to the integer 10. This means that we need to move to the right. Let's count the number of units we move to the right. 1, 2, 3. We move 3 units to the right. Because we move to the right, this represents a positive integer. So, An integer that represents the number of points you received in the third round is positive 3, or just 3.
All right, there you go. Let's try these. We'll do them together. Graph the integer and its opposite. So we have 6. You make a number line, and you graph 6 and negative 6. You just put a little point on each one. Negative 4, you have your number line. You put a point on negative 4 and 4. Negative 12 and 12. 1 and negative 1. Okay? So opposites, remember, all you got to do is either add a negative or take the negative away, and you have the opposite. And they have to be whole numbers to be called an integer.